Hello everybody, I'm Cameron and I am back with another video about Python. So today we're going to be talking about all the basics of the print statement. So in the last video you guys saw me, I tested each of the softwares that we could be using. I tested this in both PyCharm and in Spyder to show you where something will print. So I used this statement, I said print hello, and I ran that. And as you can see, we have hello down here. But I want to talk more about what this statement actually is. So this line, all you need to do is you put print, and now we have our parentheses. So we need these parentheses because what's going to get printed out down at the bottom is actually what is inside of these parentheses. So here we have a word, and as you guys notice, I also put quotes. Now these could be either single quotes or double quotes. In Python, it does not matter. So if we want to go ahead and put our double quotes, and let me get rid of that. It'll put a second quote there by default. So if we go ahead and we cut this, we could just paste it right there. And now we go and we run this again, it'll do the exact same thing. So it doesn't matter single or double, but if we want to put like words or like a sentence, like I will just put, this is my sentence. Let's try running that. It's going to print that down here too. So for any words, we need these quotes. If we don't, we're going to get an error. And the reason for that being is because the software, well, how the language works, so certain words are like commands. So you have like this print right here. That's a function. That's, doing something. The word is right here turns orange because that is a keyword that can be used to do a particular task. It doesn't recognize this as a sentence that you want to print out unless you put these quotes right there. Now it realizes that that's okay. This is a value now that it wants to print out. So we could also print out numbers as well. Now numbers, you don't need to put the quotes in because it's just a number. There's no number that's gonna give about a certain function within the language. So numbers, you never need those quotes. You just do that, and there it'll print 10. Now there's a couple other things we could do within the print statement. So let's say I want to have multiple things printed. So I could actually just put a comma after the first term. Now this term could be either a word or a sentence or a number, anything like that. Let's just do it with 1, 2, and then we're going to have the number 3. And now we can run that. And as you see, it puts a space there in between it for us. So yeah, we don't have to worry about manually putting in the space. It'll do that by itself. But if we want to change what that is, there's some keywords that we have. So within the print statement, we have sep and we have end. Now I'm just going to put these as equaling blank by default, but we could change what they're equal to. Now by default, sep is going to be equal to a space. And as we see there, we had that one space there. So sep, that keyword, short for separation, is just what is going to go in between each one of these terms. When you put a comma there, what's going to go in there? By default, it's that space. But if we want to make it something else, we can. I'll show you guys that. Let's do an asterisk, and let's see what that gives us now. So as we see down here, we have that asterisk down there now because we put that here. But you can put whatever you want in there. We could put a whole word. We could put a number. Let's put 60, and it's going to put the number 60 in between each of these values. So by default, it's always going to be that space, and that's what you'll want most of the time. But if you ever need to do something specific, you could always use that sep keyword. And as you guys saw before, we actually don't need to include that in our print statement at all because by default, it's just the space. So if we wanted to just get rid of this, we could do that. And, if you change one of the values, either sep or end, and you don't want to change the other, you don't even need to mention the other. You could just have either, you could have this will do the same thing, or let's say we only want to use sep, then we could just do it with only sep there, and we don't need to include the end. Now, you guys are probably still wondering, what does that end keyword do? Well, let's say I had another statement like this underneath. I have, let's just do 4, right? We'll keep the pattern going. Now, by default, the end is actually going to be equal to a new line. So it'll go, as we see down here, we have these on the same line, 1, 2, 3, and now 4 is on a new line. But what if we don't want that second print statement to be on a different line? What if we just want it to be a space, like how all of these are separated by? Well, we could actually define the value of end. So end we could set equal to a space, just like that. And if we run that, now they're all going to be on the same line. But what if you guys are wondering, well, how did we get it to go to the next line? Well, that we're actually going to use a command here. So we could actually use \n. Now these are called escape sequences. I'm going to get into that more in a later video, but for now all you need to know is that this little backslash followed by an n, see how that turns orange now? Now the color might be a little bit different for you guys if you're in light mode or if you're using a different IDE, but the color changes here to signify that that is now in fact an escape sequence and not just plain text such as the 1 or the 2. See how this is green because that's just printing the word. This is doing some sort of function, so that's why we get that color change there. And now if I do that, it's going to look just like it did before. So if we want to make 2 new lines, we could just do that twice. And now we could go run, and look at that. Now we have this 3-line thing. We have that blank line in the middle of it just like that. We could even put that same thing in separation. So now every single element will be separated on a new line. And now since end is equal to 2 of these, we have that blank line there still. So yeah, another thing we could do is we could use that backslash and a T, and that'll make a tab. So if we run that now, you see that this is the way a tab works is tabs are 4 spaces in Python. So this just looks like a single space between them. But let's make these all numbers so we can see how the tab works a little bit better. See, now if we do that, they're spaced out more. It's just coincidentally 1 and 2 are both 3 characters long, so when we made a tab, it only made 1 more character, so it looks just like a regular space. But if we have them as the numbers here, that's a better way to demonstrate for you guys that it's tabbing them now. And you could also put that at the end. You could put anything you want inside these quotes. So yeah, pretty cool. That is the basics of the print statement. And I hope that clears up a lot of stuff for you guys if you had any questions from the previous one. And let me know if you guys have any questions with this still. Before we go, one important thing to note is that yes, the backslash is very important. So if you want to use a / like that, see how that just looks green now, just like how we had our words before looked green. It's going to just put /n. So you definitely want to make sure you put that backslash. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is for this video. Next time, I think we're going to talk about data types. So, all right, this is it for today, and I will see you in the next one.